Time developing news on Capitol Hill this morning, where the Senate is expected to start voting on amendments to President Trump's big tax breaks and spending cuts package.
So even if it passes the Senate, the president's so-called big beautiful bill still has a long way to go. Doug Slater live for us from Washington with those details. Hi there. Good morning, Doug.
Good morning. And you know, the Senate is getting back at it right at this moment. And so they're going to begin this process. They refer to it as a vote-a-rama, where they go through all of the potential changes in the bill. This could take a while. So it's possible this passes today, but nothing is certain.
The year 2026.
One Senate clerk began to lose her voice after she and her colleagues were forced to read the entire 940-page Big Beautiful Bill.
66 million.
On and on it went, though, part of a delaying tactic by Democrats to slow down this cornerstone of the president's agenda, finally wrapping up after some 16 hours.
So the debate and eventual voting on the Big Beautiful Bill has begun. Hallelujah.
But in the hours of debate that followed, Democrats lit into the bill, which would, among other things, extend tax cuts from the president's first term, reduce spending on Medicaid through new work requirements, and ramp up spending on defense.
Like most horror movies, the sequel tends to be worse.
If we don't get this done, there is an automatic tax increase coming at the end of the year, and none of us want that.
Keeping tabs on every move was the president, who excoriated holdout Republicans concerned about entitlement reductions and cautioned fiscal conservatives who have been holding out for steeper cuts.
You also have to get elected. You know, when you do cutting, you have to be a little bit careful, because people don't like necessarily cutting if they get used to something.
And, you know, we've talked a lot about this July 4th deadline that the president set to have this on his desk. He seems to be softening that deadline a little bit. It is arbitrary, but he's not the only one that wants it done by the 4th of July. I mean, all of these lawmakers want to get out of town ahead of the long holiday weekend, and that makes it more likely that this will get done in time, but you never know. Back to you guys.
You talk about Trump doing everything he can to try to secure the passage of this bill. One Republican Senator, Thom Tillis, I believe from North Carolina, was one of the only Republicans who spoke out against the bill, and Trump actually threatened to run somebody against him during the primary, to which Senator Tillis said, "I just won't run."
I'm out. Yeah, that was his response. And, you know, in the Senate, those pressure tactics can work in the Senate, but they're not as effective as they are in the House, where you're up for re-election every other year. So I would expect to see, we're going to see more of those kinds of pressure campaigns coming from the president when this switches over, assuming this passes the Senate, when this switches over to the House later this week. There are a lot of House members, House Republicans, that don't like some of the changes that the Senate's about to make in this bill.
Well, yeah, Senator Tillis upset about the Medicaid cuts, really upset about that, so now it's a forced retirement, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right, Doug, thank you. We'll chat with you later.